Hello and welcome to FinextraTV. I'm Alex Lipich and you join us here today at UK Fintech Week at the IFGS event 2024 here in London. And I really am delighted to be joined by Janine Hirt, the CEO of Innovate Finance. Thank you so much for being with us, Janine.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolute pleasure. So let's just set the scene. So the core theme this year at IFGS is looking at the next generation, looking forward. So how, in your opinion, will fintech innovations affect non-financial institutions and organizations in the next 10 years, do you think?
I think this is a great question because we're seeing so much how fintech is having an increasing impact on sectors that go beyond financial services,
Sure.
so beyond that space. Whether that's through embedded finance, whether that's through open finance moving into open data, it's really critical that we open up the economy, and fintech will become a much bigger driver of that openness. And so ultimately we're talking tomorrow about what fintechs are currently doing in terms of partnering with other industries. We've got Klarna talking about their relationship with Watches of Switzerland. We've got a couple other different panel sessions happening as well. And diving into that broader impact is a key priority for us over the next 2 days.
You mentioned, I think, collaboration, which I think these sort of events are all about. Talking of sort of opportunities, risks, challenges that every organization faces at some point, what do you identify as the kind of opportunities and risks of the new technologies we see amongst us?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think it's really clear the impact that fintech has made over the past decade, right? We know that 98% of UK fintech is having a positive impact in the economy. We know that more than a quarter is directly addressing inequality, with a third strengthening institutions that foster social justice and peace. But there's actually so much more for us to do as an industry. When you look at new technologies, whether they're new or emerging technologies like AI, Gen AI, whether we're thinking about crypto, regulatory technology, there's a huge opportunity for us to bring this into the financial services mix and create better services for consumers, but also create increased efficiency and decreased costs. But we have to do that in a way that is also mindful of protecting the consumer and is fostering stronger and more ethical and responsible adoption as well. So those conversations have to take place about how do we drive that. And that will be a mix of regulators and government and industry coming together to have those conversations.
Sure, very interesting insight. You mentioned kind of ethical element to it.
Yeah.
Brings me nicely on to my next question. So are there any specific financial technologies that you think could really have an impact and influence sustainable habits within the finance space?
Yes. So I think there's a couple different components I would probably highlight there about what we can do as an industry. First of all, AI, of course, everyone is talking about Gen AI right now, but it does have the opportunity to completely transform our industry. The other component, however, I would say is that it's not that this is new, right? Fintechs have been using AI or have been using machine learning for years and years and years. So thinking about this in an exceptionalist way isn't necessarily the answer. And I think that same concept applies when you're looking at regulation as well. I would also bring out, when we talk about the next stage, it's really important that we talk about fraud. And we know that when we look at authorized push payment fraud in particular, that 70% of that is coming from social and online platforms, 60% from Meta alone. We need to stop fraud at its source, but also enable the banks and the challengers to not be pulled down by that, because actually they are offering different opportunities and different choice for consumers, which is really critical. So stopping it at its source on those platforms is key.
Sure, I know security is a big theme, that's obviously key. AI, the acceleration of AI is something we're going to speak about. It's a very busy event over the next day or two, so thank you so much for giving up your time. We really appreciate your really interesting insights, and we hope to speak to you very soon, but I'll let you get back to this busy event. But thank you ever so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Janine. Thank you.